One of the craziest things about Game Pass is how the data has been obfuscated. Anywhere you look that's reporting Game Pass data is not giving you what I think is a clear metric as to where Game Pass subscriber counts are right now. I want to go ahead and start from Statistia's numbers. Then I want to go ahead and look at Sarah Bond's numbers. And I think we're going to see a discrepancy. Fasten your seatbelts because something much more interesting is going on here. And I don't want to call anybody, a liar, but I don't see any other way to find data from what's been reported other than, at least at best, saying that somebody is purposefully, in a sense, shielding prying eyes from the data. That is the most political way I can put it. Number of Xbox gaming subscriptions on console worldwide as of April 2022 by service. This is in millions. Statista reports that at that time, right, April of 2022, so keep this date in mind, right, that there were 33.6 million subscribers in total. The breakdown was 21.9 million of Game Pass users on console and 11.7 million of Xbox Live Gold. The conversion had not happened then. After the conversion happened, Sarah Bond reported on the back end that there were 34 million subscribers to Game Pass. In fact, we have a video clip of her saying that in this particular footage clip, piece. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play it for you guys so that we can hear it ourselves. And I timestamped it 10 months ago, like I knew I was going to come back to this thing, okay?
Available as possible. So now the 34 million Game Pass members can all enjoy the fantastic experience of Diablo 4.
Okay, so she comes out and she says 34 million Game Pass subscribers can all enjoy the Diablo 4 experience. Now, later on, Microsoft basically clarified the statement saying that that was a mixture of core and Game Pass subscriptions. Basically, they converted Xbox Live Gold into a core subscription that doesn't get all of the benefits of Game Pass. So when we look at it, this, conversion that goes on here, right, equates to 33.6. So when you look at 33.6 as of April of 2022, right, you would think that after her report, Game Pass basically only grew about 400,000 subscribers. But here's what the discrepancy is. Statista is reporting that this particular number of 21.9 excludes the PC Game Pass users. Now, this is where things get really weird. Let's go back again and let's look at something very interesting. So take a look at this. We have official data from the Brazilian Administrative Council for Economic Defense. When Activision Blizzard was trying to get the, approval from them, when Xbox was trying to get that approval in Brazil, they published some data that made known how much Xbox was making in that regard. So people could actually take this number, about $3 billion, and kind of backtrack and be able to come to terms with exactly how much money they had made and possibly how many subscribers they had. But without any problems in that time in January, soon after the announcement of Activision Blizzard's deal, Microsoft said Game Pass had reached over 25 million subscribers. However, it's unclear how this number has changed since then. So my guess is these Xbox Live Gold folk before the conversion were already moving into the Game Pass pipeline, and also some PC players were moving into the pipeline as well. So perhaps the 34 million is either a higher number of people moving into the fully, padded tier of Game Pass within the ecosystem, or there are numbers that they're not reporting. That's the only way I can conclude this. You see how that is? You see how that gets it kind of convoluted? Because the 34 million and the 25 million had always been there, right? So Game Pass probably had 25 million when Xbox was trying to buy Activision, and they reported 25 million, right? Maybe people had already started migrating into the Game Pass tiers. As they heard the announcement, people started subscribing to Game Pass. People started moving from, Xbox Live Gold and saying, why am I waiting when I'm going to get Activision games and all these Bethesda games? And so that's probably what happened. So it seems, ladies and gentlemen, that the goal is that Xbox can convert those who are already in the subscription service to move up the tier without even having to worry about outsiders at the moment, while still being able to still appeal to outsiders via the Game Pass PC model. This article written here on The Verge by Tom Warren actually lays that out. If we read it, it's going to say Microsoft's Game Pass service now has 34 million subscribers. That's 36% up from 25 million previously reported more than 2 years ago. And this is the 25 million he's actually referring to over here, right? So let's stay close with me. Let's see if we can track this stuff down. Microsoft previously reported that Microsoft revealed that 34 million figure in an official podcast today as part of an announcement that some exclusives are coming to PlayStation 5 and Nintendo Switch. It's the first time Microsoft has disclosed fresh Xbox Game Pass numbers, as subscriber numbers, since announcing the Activision Blizzard acquisition in 2022. I think this announcement grew Game Pass from within the Xbox ecosystem. If you're in the comment section and you converted from gold to Game Pass, let me know in the comment section. This is probably where the data set makes it look really weird. Oh, they're not really growing because they added core. But how many of those people that became core members looked and said, I'm not getting the full benefit, might as well move up to the new fee? Microsoft's gaming CEO, Phil Spencer, previously admitting that he had been seeing growth slow on Xbox Game Pass for consoles. We're seeing incredible growth on PC. On consoles, I've seen growth slow down. Mainly because at some point you've reached everybody on console who wants to subscribe, said Spencer in Wall Street Journal interview in 2022. This is while they were still trying to acquire, they were still trying to get Activision at the time. It's clear that Microsoft is ways away from hitting its ambitious 100 million Xbox Game Pass subscribers by 2030. Microsoft targeted 73% growth rate of Game Pass at one time in a fiscal year that ended in June 2022, but managed only 28%. The company then dropped Xbox Game Pass growth as a target for Satya Nadella's exclusive executive compensation last year, after first exceeding its ambitious Game Pass internal targets in 2020 and then failing to meet compensation targets for 2 years in a row. The 34 million figure is reflective of the fact that Xbox Series X and S console haven't been selling as well as PS5 hardware, and that consumers aren't flocking to Game Pass for Xbox cloud gaming on mobile devices. This was before the context of Call of Duty Black Ops 6 and even Call of Duty 2023. Modern Warfare 3, I think, the remake. Microsoft also started converting Xbox Live Gold subscribers over to Game Pass Core last year, and the company has confirmed to The Verge that the 34 million includes those subscribers too. So this is where they basically bundled it all in, and now you don't even really know how to track the data unless somebody is able to go in and filter out the data as to who's Ultimate, as to who's Core, as to who is, regular Game Pass, and so on and so forth. But check this out. Something gives away the data later on. In 2023, Game Pass Ultimate accounted for 70 to 80% of all Game Pass subscribers. So the largest number of the 34 million are Ultimate subscribers, basically the highest tier, because that tier is the value proposition at the end of the day. So if you actually want to go ahead and say, okay, who all is using Game Pass, like the Game Pass subscription of the 34 million, you can pretty much take that percentage and just run with it. You can say, of the 34 million, do y'all want to do the math with me? Let's do it. You all right? Let's do 80%, right? Which is about 27.2 million subscribers are using Game Pass Ultimate of the 34 million. That's pretty impressive, guys. That is pretty impressive to be able to upsell, that community, to be able to go on and, move into that subscription category. And majority of those players, in my opinion, are probably within the console ecosystem. The PC side is where they said they're seeing growth, and that is the wild card. That is the ace up their sleeves. They're counting on the fact that the PC market, having been, one of those that's growing like crazy, by the way. If you look at Steam DB and look at Steam's, numbers in terms of who's all, coming and playing games on Steam, you'll see that the numbers of, concurrent users has pretty much almost doubled. Have y'all seen it? I've shown y'all in some other videos. Look at 2020, right during the stay home time. Then it dipped as people were going home, and now it's gone and almost doubled. This is where they're looking at growth from their subscription service. A small fee for people to enter. And we haven't accounted Black Ops 6 growth. We haven't accounted for Indiana Jones growth. We haven't accounted for the avowed growth, which will be coming regardless of what people may think. There are people who want to play an Obsidian game. Obsidian, according to reports, are seemingly figuring out a way to reach their audience that will actually play their game. So they're getting some measure of sense in their studios to make sure that they don't go ruin their PR for their game. Then there will be the Doom growth, and then there will be the Gears of War E-Day growth. There will be the Fable growth. There will be the Clockwork Revolution growth. There'll be the other game that's going to be in the Bayou growth. Midnight, whatever. That's like 7-8 games that I've already mentioned. And then there will be another Call of Duty that hits again if they're doing annual Call of Duty releases. And I think anybody who is doubting how Game Pass is going to grow, again, is not following the data. When you follow the data, you just have to say, unless people refuse to play all these games that I've already mentioned, of which we know that that's not the case, obviously. People subscribe to play Black Ops 6 and people subscribe to play Indiana Jones because nobody wants to blow $70 for many one-and-doners. And for Avowed and for the others, people will probably subscribe to test it out. Yes, there'll be people hopping back in and hopping back out, but it doesn't matter. Hop on in when you want. That's what they actually do want for you to do. So those who are saying that Game Pass numbers have stagnated, they're not looking at the internal metrics of people actually converting from different Game Pass tiers and moving up. That's where the money is, which is weird because at first we were thinking they'd be going out there trying to get 100 million people. Yes, but I think as that did not work out, they just looked at, as they were increasing the value, people were moving. In fact, as they announced that they were going to get Activision, people decided, nah, man, we're not going to be sitting on a lower subscription. We got to get in on that. And I think that basically grew their internal Game Pass Ultimate and even the Game Pass subscriber numbers for the, base tier of Game Pass. That's not core. All right. That was very hard to actually pull together. Thanks for watching my brain. Peace out.